Joan Rivers said that Michelle Obama was a man before she died.
Was that a joke? I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, but the way she said it wasn't like jokey. She was like, oh, come on, everybody knows Michelle Obama's the man.
Michelle Obama surprised fans on our new podcast by saying her pet peeve about her husband is that he's chronically late. For example, we're still waiting on him to admit he's from Kenya.
It started like any normal day. Two of the biggest names in media, Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld, speaking live on air. One on the Joe Rogan Experience, number 2156. The other on Fox's Gutfeld. Both on April 3rd, 2025. Millions were watching. Then it happened. A strange, tense moment that no one saw coming. Joe Rogan leaned forward and said, "You know they call her Big Mike, right?" Gutfeld smirked and replied, "And she's never denied it. Maybe there's a reason." The audience laughed, but online things exploded. Michelle Obama, the untouchable former First Lady, was suddenly at the center of a viral firestorm. The joke hit hard, because it wasn't just a joke. It felt like an open crack in a carefully protected image. Within hours, the clip went viral. 12 million views in one day. Searches for Michelle Obama Big Mike shot up 600%. But then, something strange happened. Videos started disappearing. Headlines blurred the quotes. Social platforms buried the story. No one told users to stop talking about it. But somehow, it all just faded. Why? Why would one offhand comment from two media personalities trigger such a fast and quiet crackdown? Because this isn't just about Michelle. It's about how far the system will go to protect an image, and what happens when someone breaks that silence. In the next few minutes, we'll explain why this theory is considered so dangerous, what Rogan and Gutfeld really meant, and why the truth might not be where you expect it. Ready? Let's begin. For years, Michelle Obama has been one of the most admired women in the world. A Harvard Law graduate, former First Lady, best-selling author, and global role model, she seemed to do everything right. Her image was flawless, strong, elegant, and endlessly inspiring. Millions of people looked up to her. Girls saw her as a symbol of hope. Adults saw her as a voice of reason. From magazine covers to stadium speeches, Michelle was everywhere and always composed. She cried at times, she laughed often, but never lost control. She was the definition of public poise. But behind that polished image, something started to change. Let's look at the facts. She signed a $65 million book deal, gained over 30 million followers on Instagram, and launched a multi-million-dollar Netflix partnership. She had her own podcast, wrote multiple memoirs, and gave sold-out speeches across the world. But lately, she's gone quiet. No podcast episodes in over a year. No off-script interviews. No casual media appearances. Even her Instagram feels staged, filtered, corporate, and distant. For someone so beloved, her public silence feels strange. People noticed. "She used to be everywhere," one fan commented. "Now I don't know who she really is." Others scrolled past her headlines, confused. Something felt off. Here's where it gets interesting. Michelle doesn't just avoid interviews, she avoids risk. Her events are tightly managed. Her team is known for being controlling. And one surprising detail, she's the only former First Lady who travels with an entourage that makes people sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, just to be around her. That's not normal, so what's going on? It feels like the more polished Michelle's brand becomes, the less real she seems. Her early speeches felt emotional and raw. Today, her words feel scripted. Her presence, controlled. It's like we're watching a character, not a person. That raises a bigger question. Why step back now? Why stop showing up? Especially when she still has millions who want to hear from her. Some say it's personal, some say it's strategy, but others think it's about keeping the brand protected. When your image is worth millions, the truth can be dangerous. There's a quiet conflict here. Fame versus honesty. Role model versus reality. The real Michelle versus the one we're shown. And just when it all seemed locked away, Rogan and Gutfeld cracked it open. Not with a deep investigation, not with proof, but with a simple moment on live TV. A moment that sent shockwaves across the internet. So what exactly did they say? And why did that joke spread like wildfire, only to suddenly vanish? It happened on the same day, April 3rd, 2025. On one screen, Greg Gutfeld, during his late-night Fox News show, cracked a joke about Michelle Obama's sudden absence from the spotlight. On another, Joe Rogan's podcast episode number 2156 dropped, with a moment that quickly caught fire online. Was it just a coincidence or something more? What started as humor took a sharp turn. This wasn't light teasing anymore. The laughter had a chill to it. Rogan said something that many had only seen whispered in internet corners. You know they call her Big Mike, right? Why hasn't she ever just shut that down? He wasn't shouting. He wasn't angry. But his tone was serious. Gutfeld jumped in later that same night with a comment of his own. Maybe it's not about truth anymore. Maybe it's about control. Suddenly something shifted. This wasn't just about a meme anymore. These were two of the most watched and most unfiltered voices in America, saying things that were never supposed to be said out loud. If you've ever been on the internet, you've probably seen the joke, the nickname, the rumor. Most people laughed it off. Some ignored it. But now, it was being repeated by men with platforms and millions of listeners. That made people ask, why won't Michelle just address it? A few words could end it. Yet for over a decade, she hasn't. That's where the tension grew. Is the rumor the problem, or is the silence? Because once Rogan and Gutfeld opened that door, everything changed. Within hours, the Gutfeld clip hit 12 million views on X, formerly Twitter. The phrase Big Mike trended worldwide. Searches for Michelle Obama surged by 600%. But just as fast as it spread, it started disappearing. Clips were removed, headlines were edited, some reposts got shadow banned. Even well-known accounts were flagged for misinformation just for sharing the moment. And that's when people really started asking questions. What made this so dangerous? It was a joke, wasn't it? Or had they touched a nerve deeper than anyone expected? Because what they hinted at wasn't just about Michelle. It was about power, about politics, about fear of saying the wrong thing in the age of image management. There was a new kind of conflict, not just people versus rumor, but truth versus silence. So what exactly is the story that keeps coming back year after year? The one that Michelle has never once spoken about. And why has it lasted this long? The internet calls it the Big Mike theory. It's the strange, shocking claim that Michelle Obama is not actually a woman, but a man named Michael, whose identity was supposedly changed and hidden before Barack Obama became president. Yes, it sounds wild, offensive even, but somehow, this rumor just won't go away. It first popped up more than 10 years ago, during Barack's time in the White House. People online started sharing videos, old photos, and slips of speech they claimed were clues. They zoomed in on Michelle's muscles. They shared slowed down footage. One clip of Barack saying, "Michael and I," has been watched over 40 million times. You may have seen one of these posts and laughed. Most people did. But here's the strange part. This isn't just stuck in conspiracy corners anymore. It's made its way into mainstream podcasts, talk shows, even political conversations. And now, there's a new twist. Some claim this theory is the reason Michelle can't run for president in 2028. They say the Democratic Party won't risk it, because if anything were proven true, it would be the biggest scandal in US political history. Again, no proof, but the rumor keeps spreading, which raises the question, if this theory is so false, why does it keep showing up? And more importantly, why hasn't Michelle just denied it directly? She's addressed racism. She's shut down lies. But this, not a word. And that silence is now a key part of the theory itself. Some think it's beneath her to respond. Others believe she can't because doing so would only fuel more fire. Either way, we're left in a strange place. Is this truth versus myth? Or is the myth closer to something real than we ever thought? It's uncomfortable, but it's real. And that's why the theory refuses to die. So if the facts are missing and the silence continues, who's really in control of Michelle Obama's story? Her, or the people shaping it from the outside? Michelle Obama is a smart, powerful speaker. She's a former first lady, a top lawyer, and one of the most admired women in the world. But when it comes to one specific rumor, she says nothing. For years, people assumed her silence was classy, dignified, a way to stay above the noise. But now, that silence is starting to feel different. It feels like she's hiding something. People close to the media world know this. Sometimes silence is a strategy. PR experts say that when a rumor is too risky to touch, you don't deny it, you ignore it. Because denial can make people ask more questions. But here's what's strange. Most celebrities shut things down fast. They joke about it, post a comment, roll their eyes. Michelle, not a single word. Not in speeches, not in interviews, not even a wink or a laugh. That's when the theory shifted. What if this isn't fear? What if it's a plan? Her image is polished, flawless, controlled, but maybe it's too controlled. And in today's world, that starts to feel fake. Now there's a growing tension. Do the people deserve an answer, or does she deserve her privacy? Some say she's protecting herself, others say she's protecting a much bigger secret. One strange detail: if you try to Google articles about the rumor, they're gone. Most are buried, flagged, or removed completely. Even the media doesn't want this story out, so what is really going on? And at this point, is it even just about Michelle? Or has this rumor opened the door to something much bigger? By now, it's not just about the rumor. It's about how that rumor is being handled and what it reveals about power. At first, people thought Michelle Obama was staying quiet to protect a secret. But maybe the real secret isn't hers. Maybe it belongs to the system around her. Behind the scenes, political insiders say her possible 2028 campaign has been put on pause. Not officially, but quietly. They say there's perception volatility. That's just fancy language for this rumor is a problem, and they don't know how to stop it. Look closer. Her Netflix projects, delayed. Big public appearances, canceled. Even social media, nearly silent. Something's happening, but nobody's saying what. That's when the twist becomes clear. The rumor may be strange, but the real story is the media blackout around it. There's a machine at work, a machine built to protect certain names at all costs. Most news outlets refuse to even mention the rumor, and it's not by chance. Leaked documents show that in 2023, major news companies were told to ignore anything related to the rumor. They call it non-engagement. In short, don't ask, don't report, don't touch it. If a public figure can't be questioned, then who decides what we're allowed to wonder about? This isn't about gossip anymore. It's about freedom to be curious versus systems that silence curiosity. Michelle Obama might not be hiding anything at all, but the way this story is being managed, that's where the real alarm bells are. In the end, it's not her identity that got exposed. It's our obedience, our trust, our willingness to let certain topics disappear without a trace. So now the question isn't just what's true, it's why are we not allowed to ask? In the end, this was never just about Michelle Obama. The real secret isn't whether she's hiding something. It's how fast the system can hide things for her, or for anyone it chooses. This rumor, it might sound strange, even offensive, but look past the surface, and you see something deeper. It's not about her. It's about how quickly we stop asking questions. When Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld joked about the Big Mike theory, they weren't breaking news. They were breaking the silence. And suddenly people looked again, not just at Michelle, but at the media, the platforms, and the machine that told us not to look. Because the moment that clip went viral, the reaction wasn't a debate. It was deletion, suppression, distraction. Silence didn't just protect her, it protected the system. And the system doesn't fear the truth. It fears curiosity. We were taught to trust certain names, certain smiles, certain stories. But what happens when one crack in the story opens a door the media can't close? The twist isn't that Michelle Obama is hiding something. It's that the people in power decided you aren't allowed to wonder. And we accepted that. The media didn't shield Michelle. It shielded itself. From embarrassment, from backlash, from losing control. We laughed, we shrugged, we moved on. But every time a video disappeared, every time a headline was rewritten, every time the algorithm made the story vanish, it was a test to see if we'd notice. So now we ask, what else has been deleted? What other stories died in silence? While we scrolled, distracted, trusting the next smiling face. This wasn't about Michelle Obama. This was about us. And the silence we've been trained to live with. The scariest secrets aren't the ones we're told. They're the ones we're told not to look for. And what just happened with Michelle Obama? It wasn't about truth versus lie. It was about something deeper. The silence you're not allowed to question. She may be innocent. She may be misunderstood. But the reaction, the deletions, the way the media and tech scrambled to bury one viral moment, that's what should make you pause. Because when silence is this controlled, you have to ask, what else have we already missed? Here's the good news. If you're still here, still asking questions, then you're not under control. And that means you're exactly who this channel is for. Subscribe now, because we're just getting started. And tell us in the comments, do you think Michelle's silence is protection or proof? Let's talk about it while we still can.